$26 billion in optical communications. Are your stocks in it? Nvidia is spending $2 billion on silicon photonics. Lumentum has $400 million in OCS orders. Coherent just raised its addressable market from $2 to $4 billion. Most people don't realize this. China makes 70% of the modules, but the core technology, DSP chips, high-speed lasers, switch architecture, that's all American. Those are the companies that actually capture the profit. Today I'm breaking down who owns each layer: Coherent, Lumentum, Broadcom, Marvell, Arista, Corning, Nvidia, whether you're holding the right ones, and where the $26 billion actually flows. First, why does optical suddenly matter? Because AI data centers changed everything. Look at this ratio. In the H100 era, one GPU needed 3 optical modules. With B300 it's 4.5. Some ASIC clusters need 8. Why? GPU power keeps growing, but the cables connecting them, copper, can't keep up. A single GB200 server needs 162 of these 1.6T modules. So 3 shifts are happening. Speeds double every generation. 400 to 800 to 1.6 terabit. Optics move from outside the rack to inside the rack, and the number of modules per cluster explodes. Bottom line, without optics, all that GPU power never gets used. So what's inside this chain? 5 layers. Start with optical chips. That's the heart. They cost 30 to 50% of every module. 3 materials fighting for dominance: indium phosphide for high-end, silicon photonics for scale, lithium niobate for next-gen. Then components, then modules, then fiber, then CPO and OCS at the top. Right now, the biggest bottleneck is at the chip level. High-speed laser chips are in shortage. Lumentum is expanding capacity by 50%. Still not enough. Now the biggest piece: optical modules. In 2026, 800 grams is the workhorse. Who's buying? The 4 hyperscalers. Meta wants 12 million units. Google plus Microsoft another 12 million. Amazon 5.5 million. Goldman Sachs just raised their 2026 forecast by 58%. And 1.6T, that's the new kid, commercializing this year. Nvidia alone takes 80% of demand. Orders doubled to 20 million units. Silicon Photonics now owns 72% of the market. But here's the key dynamic. China makes 70% of the modules, but Marvell and Broadcom own the DSP and SerDes chips inside every module. That's where the US advantage sits. Wildcard LPO technology. It removes the DSP chip entirely, cuts power by 50%. ByteDance is jumping straight to LPO, skipping 800G. If this scales, Marvell and Broadcom's DSP business gets disrupted. But the faster modules go, the more critical those electrical chips become. That's the US moat. Now let me show you a bigger shift: CPO. CPO stands for co-packaged optics. Instead of having the optical module separate from the switch chip, you glue them together on the same package. The signal path drops from 30 centimeters to under 1 centimeter. Power consumption falls 85%, and 2026 is the year it goes commercial. TSMC's COUPE platform is now in mass production. Everyone's positioning. Nvidia put $2 billion into silicon photonics with Marvell. Broadcom is the only company already shipping CPO switches. Coherent has a 6.4T solution. Lumentum won a multi-100 million CPO order. Timeline: switches first in 2026 and 2027. Then GPUs in 2028. Full integration by 2029. CPO won't kill pluggable modules overnight, but long-term, it rewrites the entire value chain and American chip design and packaging. That decides who wins. Next up, OCS, optical circuit switching. Think of it as a roundabout for light. Signals go in and come out without ever converting to electricity. Google has been using this since TPU v4 all the way to v7. Now it's going from Google only to the whole industry. The numbers tell the story. Lumentum has $400 million in OCS backlog, signed a multi-billion-dollar agreement. Coherent has shipped to 10 customers already at 320 by 320 ports. Market size: $783 million in 2025, over $2.5 billion by 2029. That's a 58% compound annual growth rate. Alright, so how do you play this? US irreplaceability comes down to 3 layers. Let me walk through each one. Layer 1, optical chips. Coherent is the full stack player, in for 800 grams silicon photonics for CPO. And OCS is exploding too. They raised their market from $2 to $4 billion. Lumentum has 2 engines running at once. ML expansion captures the supply shortage. OCS captures the demand boom. Biggest earnings leverage in the group this year. Broadcom is the only company that sits in 3 positions simultaneously. Silicon Photonics chips, electrical chips, and CPO switches. They're the only CPO switch supplier today. Layer 2, electrical chips. Marvell makes the DSP and SERDs that go inside every high-speed module. Without them, the module doesn't work. Nvidia invested $2 billion to build Silicon Photonics together with Marvell. Nvidia is paving their road forward. MACOM supplies the driver and TIA chips, supporting role but essential. Layer 3, switching and fiber. Arista is the data center switch leader. 800 grams and 1.6T switches drive direct revenue. Corning is the global fiber leader. AI needs premium low-loss fiber. Volume is climbing steadily. And the hyperscalers Meta, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, their optical spending as a share of CapEx is going from 2.7% to 4.1%. They spend the whole chain benefits. 3 risks to watch. ML chip shortage. Nvidia taking over 70% of TSMC's CoWoS capacity. PCB lead times at 6 months. So here's the timeline. Short-term 1 to 3 years. Optical modules are the most certain bet. Watch Coherent. Medium-term 3 to 5 years. Silicon Photonics and OCS. Watch Lumentum, Broadcom, Marvell. Long-term 5 to 10 years. CPO restructures everything. Watch Broadcom and Nvidia. 3 layers, 7 companies, 1 chain that can't run without US technology. Here are the names again. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe to the channel. Hope this industry analysis helps you find the right opportunities.